Okay, let's look at some numbers here. Let's start with what would have been question number one about Peter Seidler. Look at the money that's been spent in free agent signings since the winter baseball meetings. The Padres have two of the top four contracts that have been signed in all of Major League Baseball, and that does not include what they gave Yu Darvish. Obviously, it does not include what they gave Fernando Tatis prior, what they gave Joe Musgrove last year during the season, what they gave Machado the first contract he came here, and by what they started out with when they gave big money to Eric Hosmer and Will Myers. Enormous expenditure of money by owner Peter Seidler. Seidler does it again. But two of the top four contracts in baseball written in the last couple of months have come with a postmark that says San Diego, no longer small market San Diego Padre baseball.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, isn't this great? I mean, the Padres have just stepped up to the plate. I mean, they're the number 3 payroll, I think, in all of baseball. And what are we as a media market? We're probably in the mid 20s out of 30 teams. So this is incredible what they're doing. It makes you wonder, are they proving that there's a new way to manage a baseball franchise? Or is Peter Seidler just going into his own personal assets and liquidating them to get a championship here in San Diego?
I'm going to detail the Padre blueprint right at the end of our podcast because I have a segment here that I want you to pay attention to.
Okay.
In the history of Padre baseball, great owners.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Kroc saved the team from going to Washington, D.C., did spend an enormous amount of money in the era of Raleigh Fingers and all those guys. Ray Kroc, hero. John Morris, Larry Lucchino, hero. They bought the franchise from Tom Werner and the terrible 15. They got Petco Park built. Here came Kevin Brown and all those guys. They did get back to a World Series. Hero 3, Peter Seidler, and what he's done in the last 36 months with Padre baseball, because now I think we can't wait for Brown October Padres World Series games. I mean, so we've had 3 real significant impact owners in the history of Padre baseball, and this guy's got the opportunity now to take this thing back where the other 2 owners led their teams, what Kroc did, what Lucchino and Moores did, World Series.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, but just think about the San Diego sports and how many bad owners we've had here. I mean, going to the Spanoses and Donald Sterlings and Jeff Morads and Tom Werner. I mean, we've had a struggle here in town. It's wonderful to have one of the top owners in sports here in San Diego.
Padres payroll, as of lunchtime today, $254 million. Padre overall number is 274. That pushes them over the 3rd tier of the luxury tax. So they're going to have to write some checks if they stay above 273. That's the top limit. Padres have now crossed that threshold. They have all season because the collective bargaining agreement says the tax is not determined till the final day of the regular season and what is on your roster. So the Padres, if they were to make a deal, if they were to shed some payroll, if they get a hot young guy and they move a veteran off the roster, they might still get below the 273 threshold. But right now, the Padres for the luxury tax number is at $274 million. That's not small market.
No, it's not at all. And I'm curious to see what the actual numbers come out on the Machado contract. Because, when they structured Darvish's contract, they set it up so they could spend a little more money this year. Wouldn't it be interesting if Manny kind of deferred a little bit so they could squeak under that tax limit, that tax cap? I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to actually be the case.
The luxury tax number is predicated on average salary per year. That's why Manny wound up with 11 years. So you take 11 years into the max total, his contract number is $31.1 million. It's not $38 million. It's not $40 million. It's 31.1 as it relates to the luxury tax. But I wasn't good in arithmetic. You were terrible in algebra. And I'm not going to confuse all of our viewers on the live stream about that. Just understand they've walked into territory they have never, ever walked into with San Diego Padre baseball, with a 254 payroll and a 274 tax number. We'll see if they're done. We'll see if there's any more breathing room as it relates to make a trade at the trading deadline to make the final push to the pennant, to the World Series. Only time will tell on that. Let's go to the next question.